All right, let's go to like at least one planned thing that we have.
Well, yeah, let's talk about your thing because I'm really curious about what your thinking was
Oh,
concerning,
right, right,
because you
right,
have
right.
some more concerns concerning Kanye and his new album.
Right. Well, not about his album per se, um, but just some interesting things that that kind of caught my attention about this whole thing. And as some of you out there know, recently Kanye, made a big splash in media and in culture when he proclaimed that he was a Christian and that Jesus is King, and like his new album or single are titled as such. Um, and everyone, especially Christians, were kind of like celebrating, saying, "Oh yes, fine, yay, we have like this huge influential person coming out as a believer, as a Christian." And if you caught last week's live stream, me and Robert, we both expressed our hopes, doubts um, about Kanye, but I think we both came to the conclusions like, well, I hope he's earnest. I hope, you know, I hope that he's not merely doing this for uh, attention, or like if he's just if he's just like unless I hope that he's not just like coming to this faith and like as we as people who've been Christians a long time would call it, like a spiritual high, and be like really on fire, but after a few days it would kind of like fizzle out. But certain things that caught my attention have really made me question the sincerity of Kanye's recent profession of faith. Like one of them being like him selling clothing, marketing clothing with like Jesus socks and shirts with like crucifixes on them. It's like it's like this doesn't seem right. Like he's saying that Jesus King, and he's saying like, oh yeah, I come to believe that everything in the Bible to be true, but it's like, but now he's like he's basically branded himself, or he's using the crucifix as like a brand, and that kind of troubles me. Um,
He wouldn't be the first, and he definitely will not be the last to do that. I mean,
right, but I mean, the less kind of
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
But the less like scrutinizing mind would might then associate Christianity or Jesus with a $25 sock, or like a $200 shirt. It's like, but then it's like, and so it's like, and again, a more questioning or discerning mind might say like, well, how is this exactly how is this like $200 T-shirt related to Jesus? Like, what is it? Like, what's the tie-in here that and then it could jade a lot of people, or um, and it could it's just like it's like, and it just might raise a lot of questions like, well, how are you any different now than when you were supposedly secular and a child of the devil?
And part of me is like, I have a couple thoughts based off this too, because me, I'm always very skeptical of a lot of those pastors who get like really big, and like they're on TV, and they're selling stuff, and I'm all for like, hey, it's there's guys that like they write books and whatever, and which is it's totally fine. Like, obviously, like it is your profession and stuff, like, and Kanye, like, what he's he's not new to selling clothes. I mean, he's done that in the past.
Right.
Obviously, he's a musician, so he sold music in the past. So obviously, he's doing he's doing what he knows and putting a Christian spin on it, I guess. Like, as and that's not foreign to Christianity throughout the ages. I mean, that's happened many a times.
Hmm.
But yeah, I like you. I'm always a little skeptical. It's like when it's like, oh well, hey, if you like what you hear here, buy this Bible that I'm selling, or the Jesus is King T-shirt, and it's like, well, and I think yeah, it's a little on the edge for me, where I'm like, oh, God, I kind of bring that out later. It's like I'm not
Well,
saying like
because yeah, because also the other thing is like,
I'm not saying
if
don't make a living, don't do like what yeah, I'm not saying like I don't want him to make a living and to like make money. Yeah, I mean it's I think we constantly think that like Christians always have to live in poverty, and like, oh, if we do anything to earn money, that we're
Mhm.
like, oh, we're just doing it for the love of money, and we're evil and all this stuff, and we should always be like poor among the poor, trying to lift each other up, and it's like that's ridiculous. Um, but if especially for someone who is trying to overcome some of his past demons, and
Mhm.
a love of the world, in the sense where yeah, money's a big part of that, or trying to um I don't know, like whatever he's doing, um is it falling back into old patterns, or is there a positive message behind what he's trying to do?
Right. I
And
mean, if he
I
comes
don't.
out and says like, "I'm going to take all the proceeds from like my clothing sales, for that the tie-in to my record and like donate that," and I was like, then I'd be like, okay, cool, he's doing that at least,
Well,
But
I
like
don't
this
think
guy is
he'll.
already like, if not a billionaire, he's already a millionaire. So it's not
Yeah.
like he's hurting for money.
No, no, and well, I'm saying, and I honestly, I don't even think he has to do like all the proceeds are going to like this or that. It's
Right, neither am I. But at least, but then if he does come out and say that, I'll be like, okay, props to you for doing that.
right.
But it's just like, but still, it's like, but then like if he has to come out and and make the clarification or whatever, then it's just like, it just kind of like takes away from the message a little bit. Where it's like,
Well,
oh, like if you're truly changed, if you're truly like a new creature, creation, as in the Bible says, like when you profess faith and all that stuff, then your actions should be crystal clear. But the actions that I've seen so far have just made it like the matter more indistinguishable. Especially like him like starting like his Sunday service or whatever. It's like it seems very exclusive. Very it's like he's essentially starting his own church. And again, that's on the surface that doesn't seem like that bad, but there some of the imagery it's a little disconcerting.
yeah, it's one of those things like and I don't know his mind or his heart. Maybe it is in the right
Right? Yeah,
place.
I'm not trying to say that
But
I know Kanye's heart or like what his intentions are, but from
yeah,
from from the outside perspective, it's a little disconcerting.
yeah, like, but my point was like, is he being like the church members from the Book of Acts, where it's all about like doing what we can to promote the gospel and to promote good teaching, biblical teaching, to kind of help bring healing? Or is it a situation like Ananias and Sapphira, who it's they intentionally are being deceitful,
Mm,
uh, not to not just for um, the people around them, but like to the church in general, and to God,
right.
more importantly. and that's where like we just don't know. But yeah, it does. If all what you're saying is like if that's what's going on, it's like that's a little disconcerting.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean that's the only thing like I wanted to bring up um, concerning that. Just again, I'm not saying that I know what's in Kanye's heart or whatever, and if it's genuine, then yes, and prayers, and let's lift this brother up, but just kind of like what is it like what Owen Benjamin had a great take about it. It's like you know um, as much as we're celebrating that that Kanye's come out and declared his faith or whatever, we should be we should be excited. We should be just as excited if a homeless person comes to Christ.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, it's sure it's great that someone of Kanye's renown is able to profess his faith and all that stuff, and if his conversion is genuine, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't necessarily. I said this before. I don't need Kanye's like fame and all that stuff. Like it's. I'm still a Christian without him, and I can still share the gospel just as effectively with or without him because at the end of the day, it's about God indwelling within us and sharing that message of good news to others. Doesn't matter if it's someone who lives on the streets or someone who lives in a giant mansion. The gospel doesn't change.
Word.